Hey guys, welcome back to Mark of All Trades. I appreciate you guys tuning back into this video. If you're a new viewer, welcome to the channel. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. And today we're going to be going over my hunting gear. We're packing everything up because tomorrow I'm headed for my annual trip back home from Michigan for a week. We're going to go home, we're going to hopefully hit the rut, and it's going to be gun season as well. So let's see what I'm taking to Michigan. First of all, this is going to be a new tradition that I'm going to start this year. I'm going to bring the tethered saddle with me, and it's worked so good for me this year, so hopefully it'll pay off once we go back to the homeland. Alright, so the next thing that I want to show you, and I'm not sure how many of you guys actually use something like this, but a lot of my stuff I got handed down to me, which is not a bad thing at all. I'm definitely very happy to say that. So a lot of my stuff that I first started off with was with my dad's old Army fatigues. And that was cool, and that worked out for me. You know, I grew into it, obviously. And this one right here has been handed down to me since I think I was 11. And it was huge on me when I first started. But now it's getting a little snug. I should probably upgrade to a new one. But I usually use a onesie. So you can see here that this one was handed down to me. And it's a oddball color, but honestly it's thick and it's warm. I only use this like in the late season, and it's got like a nice layer on the inside and not the best camo on the outside, but it's great. It's got pockets in it. It's got a handmade bow sling in it. So you really can't beat it. It's got that old school feel to it. And honestly, I wouldn't trade it for the world. It's got good memories in it. It's kept me warm. I've got no complaints with it. But the thing that makes this one so great is that I can wear this one as my inner garment, and then I have the Scentlock Savannah onesie that I put over it. And so this is really great because I can just throw this into the dryer and it reactivates it, and I've seen it work time and time again. So I've had deer directly downwind of me, and this has been a game changer. So there's been times where we've had an east wind and we can't hunt a stand, but I'll just go out there anyway, and my dad won't see any deer, but you know, I've already shot a couple arrows, you know. So this is definitely something, if you haven't tried, Scentlock has made some great strides in the hunting world. So I also have some dead downwind. I don't use this on my outer garments, but I'll use it down on the onesie below, because this obviously isn't Scentlock. This is just an old school suit. So I'll try and be as scent proof as possible. I'll put the dead downwind on this as well. And I'm not really sure what they call this. I call it like a multi hoodie. And so this was actually gifted to me again. And so you can use this in so many different ways. You can use it as just a neck warmer. You can pull it up over your mouth, cover your ears. You can just pull it up just like this, and it's been great. It'll just keep the wind off of the bottom portion of your face. You can pull it over like a hood. You know, you can use it this way, and it'll keep the wind off of your neck and off your ears. And this way, I mean, you can even pull the retention cord a little bit, and if it's that cold, you can use it just like that. This thing has been awesome. My dad has one too, and we both wear it once it comes cold, and it's pretty vital once it gets cold. So if you don't have one of these, I think it's like $20 at Cabela's or Bass Pro. So when I'm not saddle hunting, I'll always have my harness with me. And this is just a chest harness. It's not a full body harness. I don't really think that those are that comfortable. I know for a fact that it's more comfortable if you fall, and it's more protection when you fall for the full body harness. But I've never fallen out of the tree, knock on wood, and this has been my harness for a long time. I always inspect it before I go into the woods each year, and this has been holding strong for me for a couple years, so hopefully it's got a couple more seasons in it. Another thing that I have is a hand warmer, and this thing's pretty cool. Again, I'm realizing it once I'm doing this video, but this was actually given to me by my dad. And you can see on the inside here, it's actually super fluffy, and it keeps your hands really warm. If it's one of those cold Michigan winters and you don't want to have those thick gloves on, you just put a little hand warmer in here, and this has got you good to go. This is all you need, really. And then once you're ready to use your hands or anything like that, you can just take them out, use them real quick, and just put them back in here. This thing's awesome. And these are actually my dad's old BDUs. He had them when he was in the Army, and we just used them once we first started getting into hunting, over 20 years ago. And this is what we used, and it worked for the longest time, and it'll still work. But when you have that scent lock, this kind of becomes obsolete. It's still good if you're using it. There's nothing wrong with it. These are kind of oddball things, but definitely something for consideration. I have an extra sweater and some extra sweatpants. These things are essential when you're hunting in the cold. You want to layer up as much as possible. Obviously, when you're going out there, you might want to shed a few layers just when you're walking in, because you don't want to create a bunch of sweat. But when you get to the tree, you definitely want to layer up, and these are definitely going to help you out a ton. So definitely layer up whenever it's in those cold times. Thick gloves. These are by far one of my favorite pairs of gloves that I have. They're actually issued by the military, and I have another set. So these work out really great. They're thick on the inside. They're a little noisy, but I'll take the noise with the actual warmth that they provide. So these are definitely great. All right, these socks, I've had them for a little while, but wool socks are definitely my best friend. Even when I'm not hunting, I'll still wear wool socks just to keep my feet warm. And I think that they're great. I'll always double up on my socks. I'll wear, just a pair of cotton socks, and then I'll put on a layer of wool socks, and then I'll put another layer of wool socks on top of that, just to keep my toes from getting cold. Because once your feet get cold, it kind of just goes downhill from there. I'm sure a lot of you guys have been out on the stand, and then once your feet get cold, the rest of you just start getting super cold, and then it's time to head in, So definitely protect your feet. This was actually another gift, believe it or not, from my dad. My dad gave me this about 2 years ago, and it's been great. I finally got to use it this past year when we got that buck on the Illinois state land, and this is just our gutting bag. So in here, we have a Gerber, and he was nice enough to get this engraved, and it has my initials on there. I'm not sure if you guys can see that or not. But this thing is the exact same knife that my dad has, and he's gutted every single deer that he's ever gotten with one knife, believe it or not. He swears by Gerber, and you know what? It's actually really sharp. I've gotten one deer with it, and it still remains really sharp. And that's definitely what you want when you're gutting the deer. We got some gloves for, making sure that we don't have bloody hands on the drive home, and everything else, making sure we're clean. We have wipes. So I'm not sure if many of you are familiar with this, but this is called a butt out. And at first I was a little skeptical about it, but this is super great. If you haven't seen one used, definitely go check it out. It saves you a lot of time, a lot of mess, and it's minimal effort whenever you use this thing. So again, it's called a butt out, and definitely add it to your gutting bag if you don't have one. A spare flashlight is in here, just for in case something happens, the batteries on your main light go out. It's always nice to have a spare. We have tracking paper in here. This is just regular tissue paper that you can just break off, and you can see where the blood is without having to go back. You can physically see it. I just put it right on the tree whenever I'm tracking something, and this you can just kind of go back and see. And if you look, you can kind of look at the path that the deer took, and you can kind of make an accurate gauge of where to go from there. So here you can see that I have my backpack that I've usually taken out to every single hunt I've done this year. I carry my Hawk helium sticks on the side, and this makes it great trying to get into the woods. I've made a video about my pack dump, and I'll put a link right here so you guys can take a look at that video if you want. But this pack is a game changer when it comes to hunting. I like having my hands free when I'm going through the woods, and the only thing I'm carrying is my crossbow. So definitely take a look at that. I've done a video on the Hawk helium sticks as well, and if you guys want to take a look at that, I'll put the video right here. Something new I'm taking this year to Michigan is this camera gear. I haven't really been big on self-filming until this year. I've gotten a lot of joy out of it, trying to film my hunt and make it a little bit more challenging. Hopefully you guys are enjoying it too. But this camera arm I got off at Amazon for $40. I'm still new into filming my hunts, so I didn't want to go all in and go get, the 4th arrow arm and everything else, the muddy arm. You can spend a ton of money trying to do that stuff. So I kind of went on the cheaper end and got this. And this is okay. It's not too bad. I'll have to do an in-depth review on this. It's a little loud, just a little bit, but it does the job. You can definitely get steady footage on it. The actual head of it is kind of stiff. It's not great. This arm right here kind of tightens up sometimes if you don't play the angle right. And this just ratchets onto the tree. I know that there's some out there that is a separate piece and it makes it easier to get it onto the tree, but again, I paid $40 for this, so you can't really complain about it, not being as good as those $200 tree arms, So this just goes onto the tree and then you can just ratchet strap it down. So again, I've used it a couple times on my hunts and it's been really good. So I would definitely suggest this. I'll put a link below if you guys are interested in looking this on Amazon. Well, that pretty much wraps up everything that I'm going to take to Michigan. Obviously, I'm still going to need to pack some food, a sleeping bag, and everything else that we're going to need in our RV for when we go up north. We're hunting about 20 acres up north, and it backs up to 300 acres of state land, and right next to it we have a friend of the family who has 80 acres next to it, so we're in a pretty good spot. If you guys are hunting in Michigan, definitely let me know below where you guys are hunting. I'm going to be up over by the Bay City, Saginaw area. That's usually where we hunt. So I'm curious to know how the deer's moving this year in your part of the area. So definitely let me know below, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.